All right, this is the bi-weekly meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. Today is August 31. As a reminder, this meeting is public, recorded, and published on YouTube. If you have anything you want to discuss regarding storage, please add it to the agenda that's in the invite. And first up, we're going to go through the planning spreadsheet to get a status update of all the features we've been working on this quarter. Tomorrow, September 1st, is code freeze. So we need to make sure that any code that needs to be merged for 1.8 gets approved and LGTM'd as soon as possible. CSI, I haven't been working on this too much in the last week. There's no code that needs to be merged for code freeze. I'm planning to pick it back up next week after code freeze. Capacity isolation, resource management for local ephemeral storage. Jing, do you have an update here? Jing is not on the line, I think, but last I heard, all the PRs were in and were either awaiting review or were already merged. So that seems to be on track for code freeze tomorrow. Local persistent storage support, there was no code that needs to be merged here. Michelle, do you have any update?
Yeah, so we set out an initial design to support block devices. And then on the scheduler front, I'm ironing out some last details with the scheduler team. And hopefully after that, I can send out a scheduler proposal as well.
Cool. Next up, block volume support. Aaron, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, so I think we have a couple cleanups and nits on some stuff, but the last one we do have kind of a blocking issue is the attach detach and not knowing, how to do that properly with block devices. So Mitsuhiro and I are talking on Slack. Wouldn't mind some input from Michelle and Jan on how we should go about doing that properly. It kind of arose over the whole cleanup. When we got rid of it, how do we know it's detached and what to detach? So,
okay, and are we still targeting 1.8 for this?
I don't see that happening. I mean, given that we have one more day.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we need to probably move it out just for the sake of
okay,
something of the level we want it to be. So
no worries. I think a lot of work got done here, so I'm glad we closed on the design. Sorry, what was that? Nope. Okay, moving on. Enabling containerization of mount dependencies. Jan?
So the mount propagation might be merged tomorrow. I don't know, but the containerization is definitely 1.9.
Okay, so that's partial good news. CNCF testing and certification. Aaron, any new updates here?
Yeah, I had a meeting with the CNCF cross-cloud team yesterday to talk about what they're doing as far as being able to test different cloud providers in a CI environment and kind of their design and what they have thus far. So they have it working to where they basically build and then deploy across each of these different clouds, Prometheus, Cube, and one more that I can't think of right now. And so the idea would be that initially we would just extend the Helm charts to add persistent volumes to leverage testing the different plugins, starting with AWS and GCE and moving on to the others. It would just kind of be our initial step to the integration with how the CNCF wants to handle it. We still need to follow up with, our long-term goals of having this separate test environment to certify on, but it's a start. So I'm going to send out meeting notes from that meeting and how we're going to get started and maybe some milestones around that. But that's where we're at.
And who in the CNCF is working on this? Do they actually have like a separate team or?
Yeah, it was Denver Williamson and Chris McDowell, I think.
Okay.
I'll send the names out and I'll send it to the SIG. But those are the people that are doing the cross-cloud. So far, it was just Clint and myself kind of looking at the end-to-end testing stuff and getting the ball rolling on that.
Cool. Next up, testing. I think there's no updates here. Azure DD refactor was completed. Attach detach for RWO. Wamin?
So we have Capuchino and iSCSI that's already merged. There's a PR open for RBD. But I don't think this is a perfect time for RBD because it will requires RBD utility in the controller image, which sometimes we don't really have it. So if we have this refactoring come in without validating the binary, then it's going to break the existing behavior.
Okay. So iSCSI is in, RBD not for this quarter, and Fiber Channel?
It's in. Fiber Channel is
already in as well? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Next up, Hamant with volume plugin metrics.
This was done, and while I was on PTO, Matthew wrote most of the code, and it's merged.
Nice. All right. NFS wedging issue, we decided not to proceed on. Snapshots, Jing or Tomas?
Hello. So the upstream work on the external control continues. We are now making sure that the proposed API is reflected correctly in the code and adding some other changes for various corner cases. And today we agreed with Wamin that we would try to intensify work on snapshots external controller, so we have something solid by the end of next week.
Okay. And since it's external controller, it's not subject to the code freeze, though. Okay. Next up, resizing volume support.
So for 1.8, we are. I think we'll be able to. We'll get like the control plane based resize, like the only volume types that require just the control plane resizing. That's. I mean, we have code for file system resizing as well, but it's too late to review that bit. So we have the control plane resize, something like LusterFS, that is done, it's been tested. And I'm working on, so.
All right, cool. And I'll make sure to take another look at your PR today.
Cool, thank you.
Exposing storage class parameters to end users. We decided not to work on that for this quarter. Improving flex volume deployment. Cheng, is everything around this merged?
All the code is in. The tests are waiting for review, but
Okay.
it should be merged by today.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as done then. Fixed volume, broken volume reconstruction. We decided not to work on that. Host path volume type. We're going to follow up with that offline. Mount options to GA. Come on.
Yeah, it's been done. And while I was on PTO again, Matthew implemented most of the stuff. So.
And the PRs there are already merged?
Yeah. Okay. Both the mount outlet to GA and storage class support.
All right. Persistent volumes source API refactoring.
So we have a SFFS and Azure file that's already merged. I decided to I have that PR for iSCSI, but I think it's probably safe to wait till 1.8 pass because there's so many changes in iSCSI. There's so many features already. It's just going to get exploded. On the last FS, we decided to do it on 1.9, so it's RBD.
Okay. Sounds good. Allowing configuration of reclaim policy and storage class is already done. Exposing storage usage metrics. Anybody have an update on this?
Yeah, this is done. The two PRs, one is approved in the merge queue, and the other one from Matthew is waiting for the first one to go in, but it's approved.
Okay, so it looks like it would go in for 1.8 though?
It will, yes.
Okay, cool. I'll keep this as started and then we can update it next time. Thanks, Vivad. Rook and Nutanix are both working on flex volume plugins. Is anybody from either of those teams available to give an update there?
Hi, Saad. Yeah, this is Steve from Rook. Rook already have a Rook flex volume plugin and it's working. One thing that I found most of the problem is that because I'm using the attaching the touch interface, a lot of deployment do not set up flex volume on the control manager correctly. So they don't either set up the host mount, or they leave a default mounting directory which is read only. So those are the little issues I found, but it's not related to the work that we're talking. But
okay,
thought I would bring it up.
Cool. And if there's anything that you want to discuss with a broader SIG, maybe we could discuss that later in the meeting.
Sounds good.
So along the same note, I found one issue actually. Across a reboot, volumes are not getting mounted. So I think that has to do with the reconciler code somewhere. So I'm still trying to track it. I would maybe, if you have some time tomorrow, I want to bug you and pick your brain.
And is there a bug already open for that?
Not yet, actually. I'm trying to triage it before I
okay.
go back and raise alarms prematurely.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. And if it turns out to be a real issue, let's mark it for 1.8 and we can tackle it post code freeze.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool, thank you. All right, I think that's it. Everything else is low priority and we're not going to be working on it for this quarter. Switching back to the agenda doc. It looks like we don't have any PRs or designs that need review. Does anybody have anything they want to add? All right, looks like this meeting is going to be relatively short then. Next item on the agenda is discussing the location and time of the face-to-face meeting. Aaron Boyd sent out a survey a couple of weeks ago, right after the last meeting of this storage SIG. Aaron, do you have any updates on the results of that survey?
Yes, let me pull up those. I meant to do that before the meeting, I'm sorry.
No worries. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can share yours.
It's an easy way to get the results. Responses. Okay, so we've had 18 responses. Oops. And here, I'll show this here. Can you guys see it?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, and so basically, darn it, why does it do that? Let's go down. So the most popular has been the first week of October. The second most popular and second and third are tied with the week of October 8th, and then the following week, the week of October 16th. And so far, Google hosting in San Fran or Dell EMC has been the most popular, with the second being Dell EMC in Austin. So.
And by San Fran, you just mean the wide region, right? Like
yeah.
All the way down to San Jose.
Right.
Yep. Oh, someone just switched their response to Austin instead of that. So, so that is the current state. I don't.
And just to FYI, if it's in Austin, I think I potentially offered to host, but that would be in Round Rock. Unless the group is small, I don't think I have a facility in downtown Austin that could accommodate it.
I don't know that that's that big of a deal. It's not that long of a drive to Round Rock.
So as far as San Francisco Bay Area is concerned, I think we can host here at Google, no problem. And first week of October works. If this is what folks want, we're happy to host.
Okay, it's up to you, whoever's hosting, to say that that's what we're going to commit to. And if that's what we want to commit to, then I'm fine with that. Unless we want to give everyone today to finally respond. I notice people are responding and things.
Okay. First week of October, and our next meeting is going to be in 2 weeks. I'd say let's just decide on this call. That way we can get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Would everybody be okay with the first week of October? Normally we do 2 days. And
good with me. I just saw the graph take a big leap up, so I think some of the late voters pushed that.
Oh.
Yeah, but still moving.
First or second week of October looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
What's our agenda? Usually agenda drives these things, right?
Agenda, I have 2 big items that I'd like to discuss. One is the actual design implementation for CSI and Kubernetes. And 2 would be to kind of shake out things around local storage and capacity isolation. But usually what we do is put together a doc, have people contribute ideas that they'd like to discuss, and then maybe vote on them as soon as we start the summit.
So who's willing to fly out to San Francisco to talk about those 2 things, I guess is the question.
Yeah, that's ultimately what it comes down to.
I'll be there.
I would like to be there because I think, block integration is important to CSI as well as the CNCF testing. They really want to make sure that that's compliant to be able to be tested on that. So,
Chakri?
Hi, sorry. Yeah, I'm in RTP right now, so maybe I might have to attend remotely. Unless, or maybe I will make it too. I just need to check. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Did that answer your question, Brad? Or no?
Sort of.
If it's going to be, if it's going to be CSI focused, maybe I'll be there. And
if it does have a CSI focus, I think, I definitely want to make sure that we have the right people there. Mm-hmm. And if we can't have the right people there, that does affect our schedule.
Yeah. Would you be able to attend if it was West Coast first week of October, Brad?
It's close. It's actually ACL in Austin that week that I have tickets for.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe second week of October?
Second week of October is definitely better. I could attend for that, I think.
Okay. Second week of October looks open for me as well. Does anybody else have any conflicts on the second week of October?
Give me a minute to look. The Open Source Summit and MezosCon Europe is in October in the middle. I'm not sure whether it's second week or third.
Sure.
I'll look right now.
Are you thinking beginning of the week or end of the week?
Okay, I can do second week too.
I was thinking beginning of the week, so maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, but really no strong preference.
Okay.
Yeah, works for me too.
Okay.
Would that be better, Brad, so you don't have to sacrifice your tickets?
Yes.
Okay. So that means we're looking at, what is that, the 9th and the 10th for the actual face-to-face?
Yes, we're looking at, or let's say 10 and 11, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then San Francisco Bay Area, meaning most likely Sunnyvale, California. And I'll circle back with our team to figure out the logistics and put together a registration mechanism to get a rough idea how many people to expect.
Okay.
Also, if anybody else wants to host in the Bay Area, don't feel like we're pushing Google. We're happy to host anywhere really. So if you'd like to volunteer, please feel free.
Yeah, if for some reason Google has the facility tied up, once again, I'll offer that out to third parties too. And then if somebody just wants to get involved, I think that we've always had a dinner going on for this too. So if somebody just wants to sponsor at that level, I think I've always found that group dinner to be valuable, just to socialize and get to know each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saad, this is Gopal. I'll also check if our construction is over, but it really depends. If it is 30 people, we can redo it in downtown San Jose.
Okay. This is Gopal from Diamante?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be wonderful. How soon do you think you would be able to let us know?
By end of this week.
Okay.
Tomorrow?
Perfect. I will just feel free to message me directly, and then we can sort it off offline.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other questions about the face-to-face? All right. Moving back to the agenda then, looks like that was the last item. Is there anything else anybody wants to discuss? We've got plenty of time left today. If there's any designs, any open PRs, anything anybody wants to discuss, otherwise we'll just give you half an hour back today.
Hey, Saad, Vladimir, can you elaborate on the deadline tomorrow? So it's whatever PR gets in by tomorrow is good, or after tomorrow?
I believe that as long as the LGTM'd and approved by tomorrow, it should be okay. The release team hasn't clarified, at least on the proposed timeline. Let me share my screen. Whether that's tomorrow or 12 a.m. So I'm going to assume it's end of day, and we can go from there. So basically anything that gets LGTM'd and approved by end of day tomorrow should be okay.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to go ahead and double check with the release team and send out a follow-up to the storage SIG to verify whether it's end of day tomorrow or midnight tonight.
Is there stuff not on the sheet we need to be looking at?
On the tracking sheet?
Yeah, I was asking for, for whoever brought that up.
Oh, yeah.
Vlad, did you intend to queue up some sort of a PR? Is that why you asked?
Yeah, I have one that's getting a LGMT today. I might have another one, but I might not be able to get it looked at before tomorrow. That's why I was asking.
Oh, just to clarify, this is for features. So bug fixes are still allowed after the freeze.
Right.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
How about 100 line or 100 file change for attached detached controller?
Only for 1.3. All right. If there's no other comments, then let's give everybody 30 minutes back in the day.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good. Thanks.
Take care, everyone.
You too. Bye.